quite intense. It's like I can feel what you're feeling.
I feel very present, more present than I have in a little while. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel Skylife, where I'm joined by Kevin, who is my friend slash I don't know what we are. So we've been dating for almost 7 months.
Around 7 months.
7 months, and
we're in that gray area, as we like to call it.
As many millennials are, I feel like so many people are experiencing the same situation that we are. I'm still in that zone where I want to be fully independent, and by getting into a relationship, I'm afraid of losing that.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, and similar from me.
So we're both kind of in this place where we're not sure what either of us want, and so today we're going to be going to an intimacy coach. Thanks for saying yes to this.
Pulled into this, but here we go.
All right, are you ready to go meet up with this coach and see
I'm ready. Let's go.
What's gonna happen?
Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
I'm Zoe Korres. I'm a sex and intimacy coach, and I help people to express themselves freely and to cultivate a loving, nourishing relationship with themselves and each other. Intimacy is the state of being seen, fully seen beyond the mask that we normally wear. We can only meet each other to the extent that we can meet ourselves. So the idea of cultivating an intimate relationship with yourself becomes really imperative when you want to have a really intimate and healthy, nourishing relationship with someone else. I think that so many people struggle with intimacy because of a sort of cultural expectation that things follow a certain path and a certain timeline, when really, actually, what each of us is wanting and craving is to be seen. So energetic intimacy or presence can be incredibly nourishing and really sort of redefine the possibility of what an intimate relationship can be. Today I'm going to be taking Sky and Kevin through an intimacy session, and we are going to talk about where they are in their relationship and their current level of intimacy, and then we're going to explore ways of cultivating various kinds of intimacy, physical, emotional, and energetic.
So Zoe, we are here in your presence and we're both nervous.
Yeah. So let's start by taking a deep breath, right?
Okay.
Take one more. And one final breath. And really land in the space.
I feel better now.
Yeah. So tell me why you are here and what brought you to want to speak with me today.
We are both confused about kind of what we want, if we're supposed to be moving forward in our relationship or not. I think we both value our independence a lot, and personally that's kind of my fear of getting into a committed relationship, but we both enjoy spending time with each other. I'm speaking for myself, so
Yeah.
How do you feel, Kevin?
I would agree with everything you just said. We have a lot of common interests. We enjoy spending time together. Then there's also pressures of life timelines of where you're supposed to end up at a certain age.
We are sort of indoctrinated into this idea that, just like you said, there's a timeline and that we have to get to a certain destination, and that's not always appropriate. It's not always our sort of natural inclination. So we live in a society, a culture that is really addicted to certainty on many levels, not just in relationship. We're very uncomfortable culturally with the not knowing. And that's a shame, because actually the state of not knowing allows a certain level of curiosity and possibility. The nature of commitment that society is requesting that you pursue is also based on history and a long sort of legacy of a paradigm that isn't necessarily applicable to right now. Commitment to each other can look like a million different things. So I'd like to just talk a little bit about what what intimacy really is and just sort of like lay it all on the table, because it's actually a lot simpler in its complexity once you kind of spread it out and look at it. I define 3 kinds of intimacy: physical intimacy, emotional intimacy, and what I call energetic intimacy. And if you imagine a grid where those are lined up across the top, then down the side is, at the bottom we have intimacy with self, intimacy with other, and intimacy with the universe. And so you end up with this sort of grid of 9 areas where these lines intersect. When we talk about physical intimacy and letting someone into our world, it's super powerful and bonding, and does not need to always be sexual to be powerful. Do you want to do some exercises as we move through these 3?
Yeah, let's do it.
So to explore physical intimacy for a few moments, we're going to start with you, Sky, and if you hold out your arm, your inner forearm for Kevin, hold her arm, maybe give it a little bit of a squeeze. And Sky, really feel that. Just feel the sensation, feel his touch. Vary from a tickle to more of a massaging. Explore her arm and maybe even her hand. Move nice and slowly so that she has time to really process the sensation. And notice what comes up for you, Sky. Notice where else you feel sensation in your body. And Kevin, just focus on the palm of her hand for a few moments. Get to know every square millimeter. Okay, now end with your hand flat on her forearm so she can really feel you, your presence. And you can open your eyes and acknowledge each other.
Thanks. It felt really nice.
One of the things that is really interesting is the exploration of fully giving and fully receiving and what that brings up. So there is an emotional component for most people when those feelings start to arise.
Your turn.
My turn.
Yeah.
Let's roll up your sleeve. Okay.
Kevin, yeah, close your eyes. And if you can imagine being more present to this hand and arm in front of you than you've ever been to anything or anyone in your life. Pure curiosity, unmitigated wondering. Beautiful. And finish up with a firm touch. And when you're ready, you can both open your eyes and acknowledge each other.
It's so crazy when you actually take the time to observe.
Yeah, we take so much for granted because we move so fast.
I was getting emotional because I'm thinking this is a hand that was made by the universe, and it was a little tiny hand once, and now it's like a big hand. And like it's a human being's hand that it's really wild when you actually take a moment to appreciate it and look at it deeply.
To explore emotional intimacy, I'm going to ask a question, and you're going to take turns sort of exploring the answer to this question. And the rules of the game are, I think we'll have Kevin speak first. And Sky, you are not allowed to speak at all. So the only thing that you can do is communicate over and over and over again. I see you, I got you, I love you. Over and over again, but only with your eyes. So you are loving awareness embodied. One of the ways to do this is for you to share one of the most challenging aspects of your adolescence.
Talk to me.
Yeah, you know this for the most part already, but my younger brother has special needs. He was diagnosed with autism, and then that had all kinds of challenges for me growing up, and just the challenges of him, like physically, behaviorally, and emotionally, that he had to undergo. And it was a lot of like time and energy from my parents that had to go towards him, and I totally understood that. But then it put me in a place where I had to adapt and learn to do things independently. Now I'm looking back and I'm seeing that experience as something that has made me able to not only like take care of myself, but also be able to give back and take care of other people around me.
It's wonderful that you have found the benefit of that experience and how that was a learning for you. I'm wondering the difficulty in those years and what you feel was lost, what part of you was lost in that experience.
I would say I never really had someone to actually talk through things with. My brother would always listen, but to some extent he doesn't communicate the same way we do, so he always had a technology device to ask for what he wanted, but it wasn't really at the level of having deeper conversations that I know a lot of kids have with their siblings. I was almost like a caretaker in some ways, and then I had to pretty much grow up really fast because of that.
What do you feel in your body right now? What's coming up?
I can feel it in my shoulders, like having weight on my shoulders. So it's like I can feel my shoulders like slumping forward.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening. You're a good listener.
Is there something that you want to share about one of the most vulnerable moments in your life?
When I was in college, I went through a period of time where I totally didn't know who I was. There's a whole host of reasons as to why that summer I just felt extremely depressed. I never felt that level of depression before, to the point where I didn't want to get out of bed, like hopeless, almost like no faith as well. You know, I was kind of just struggling through it, but I would get on my yoga mat because it's the only thing that would make me feel better. And so I started going to yoga, just forcing myself to go to yoga whenever I could, and it helped me feel better. I started seeing a therapist, that helped a lot, but it was still going to be a long process of healing. And somehow, like through all of it, through just staying present with the process, I've come out on the other side of that depression and can see how much I've learned. The learning was necessary, but it was a pretty dark period of my life.
And what do you feel in your body right now?
A lot of energy moving around.
It's uncomfortable.
Nervous, uncomfortability. Yeah.
Take a breath.
Heart to heart.
Thank you for opening up and for sharing so beautifully and vulnerably. We're going to do some eye gazing, and I would love for you to either have your hands on each other's knees or hold hands, some point of contact. We're going to basically look into each other's eyes, and if you have some giggles and laughs and smiles, it's totally okay. I'm gonna just sort of talk you through this a little bit. You're going to take a deep breath together and exhale and settle into the space. We're not gonna look away from each other's eyes. You can look from one eye to the other, alternating at a slow pace. And as you sit here together, I want you to imagine that you're transported from the context of your lives, and you've climbed into a bubble together. You can let go of the whole story about each other, how you met, and you can even let go of your personalities, your personal history, and just recognize this beautiful creature in front of you, this divine manifestation, a sacred soul, and notice what it feels like to see this person, to witness them, to be able to look past their story. See if you can feel the universe dancing through you. Take a deep breath together. Just let go into this moment. When you're ready, you can acknowledge each other.
It's quite intense. It's like I can feel what you're feeling.
I feel very present, more present than I have in a little while.
So how was that? How do you feel?
It was a journey.
It was a journey.
It was nice to feel supported as we talked through some of those uncomfortable things, and it felt like there was no judgment, which isn't always the case.
It's so powerful to step out of the normal context, and to create a space to show up and meet each other, sort of heart to heart, soul to soul. What is possible from this place?
Well, for myself, my ability to stay present and also think of relationships, not just, intimate ones, but maybe even with friends, how they break down into those 3 different levels, because I think that can be applied to a lot.
Yeah.
I feel more comfortable kind of being in the gray area, as we were calling it, but really it's just being with each other now. The gray area is not a bad thing.
The uncertainty and the not knowing in the gray area is really just you both being intimate with each other and intimate with life and showing up for all of it in all of the complexity.
How do you feel about where we're at?
I feel like it's okay, and now we'll get the most out of it day to day.
I just feel like there's been pressure released in experiencing real intimacy, and now we can apply that to how we can support each other. No matter what the context of a relationship, humans, we are here to support one another. Like you said, none of us know what we're doing. So all we can do is be there for each other in presence and hold space so we can all just navigate this journey. Zoe, I want to thank you so much for guiding us today and for really opening both of us up to the possibility of what true intimacy can mean.
Thank you for showing up and trusting me and playing.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me to this. I don't think I would ever have had an opportunity to experience something like this if these circumstances didn't align the way they did.
Thank you for saying yes. Like, it says a lot about you that you showed up here and you're willing to do this, not only be vulnerable with each other, but in front of cameras. And it means a lot to me that you're willing to say yes to this. So thank you so much. And I hope that this is helpful to other people who maybe are experiencing similar pressures that we were feeling. I hope that we can redefine what intimacy means and what relationships mean. Thank you so much, Zoe. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you so much for watching. And that's it for this episode of Skylife. Remember, you have the power to thrive. You have the power to live your best life ever. And let us know what you thought in the comments below, and if you want to see Kevin in more videos. Okay, we can always, if they're bad, then we can always skip with a selfie.
Like 10 good ones.
Do you think there was good ones? Okay, let's cut.